Hot Seat, where today we are taking on finding love. I'm Rebecca Silence, creator of Healing is Possible, and every week, Tuesday at 10 a.m. Mountain, we go live. It gets hot, it gets sticky, and we address creating movement through stuck, and we model how quickly the process of breakthrough can happen, emotional breakthrough. If we aren't where we want to be, there's an emotional breakthrough needed, period, end of story. So in the hot seat, I work with a brave volunteer every week or bring in a leader and healer to discuss breakthrough and to share breakthrough with all of you. With that being said, I have a dear friend, Raju, joining us in the hot seat to talk about and take on love. Welcome, Raju.
Hey, thank you, Rebecca. Um, oh wow, you said hot and sticky. I don't know about that. Let's see how sticky I get and
Let's
sweat
see. It's an
sweat when you ask me
experiment.
questions.
It's an experiment. Raju, tell us what brought you here. What do you want to get out of this experience in the hot seat today?
Well, I guess I haven't been on a hot seat for a while, or in a hot seat for a while. But I think you and I chatted, and I love the fact that you have a group called Healing is Possible. Um, and I think a few weeks ago or a month ago, whatever it was, if we started talking, and I think you're on a great mission, and there's been a lot talked about trauma. Everyone goes through some sort of trauma, um, and when there was an interesting documentary about trauma and healing recently. I don't know if you've heard about that, but there's so many of these out there, and the fact that you're looking at helping people know that there is healing possible. I sometimes don't know whether to believe that or not, but I keep keeping an open mind, and I do work with. I got introduced to shadow work, if you
Yeah.
know what that means. So yeah, I've been doing stuff like that, gold mining the shadows by Pixie Lighthorse. So yeah, it's been a journey since my wife died almost 6 years ago. But anyway, so I digress. But to answer your question, I don't know what I necessarily want out of it, or what your listeners or viewers want out of this, but I just want to be able to share in whatever way I can help, and maybe I'll get some help too, because as we speak, we get our own breakthroughs.
Yeah. So I don't want to step over the loss of your wife. That's significant.
Mhm.
And I also don't want to step over what you just said about wanting to believe healing is
Mm.
possible. What is it that's preventing you from fully believing that? And I'm not saying that's good or bad or right or wrong.
Sure. No, as I said, I know somewhere deep down in our human souls that are in these human bodies for a short period of time. I do believe that whatever has to happen. You can choose to heal or not to heal. I think there is a choice somewhere. So a great human desire is to want to heal. Um, I mean, I do a lot of coaching, so I know that trauma and healing are kind of intertwined, because you need to heal to move forward, and we all don't want to live in the past, and a lot of this shadow work is about not living in the past. So I get it, and I believe it, and I know it as well. But yet there are things that hold you back or pull you back into your normal conditioning and the so-called human behavior, as opposed to really, if you really feel and you really believe that you're a spirit in these bodies for a short time, then you can't live in the past. So partly it's about, we keep giving meaning to incidents and events of the past to either drag us down or to move us forward. So it's that little stick. On the one end is fear, and the other end is courage. On the one hand is trauma, the other end is healing, and we can draw these spectrums all the way around. So I think we all want to be on the other side of that stick always, right? Courageous, bold, uh, feel healed, forgive, and not live in the past. So I think it's a constant, shall we say, it's a desire for balance.
Yeah. And you're real fun to work with because you've done so much work already. You get it so much intellectually.
Right.
My new tagline is the darkness is real and so is the light. And when it comes to healing, I don't believe it's a cookie cutter journey or experience. I don't know how to outlive my past ever, but what I do know is that hurt can get to the point where it no longer hurts.
Yeah.
And so if you could get anything for yourself today, I want to know what it would be. I've got to know I did my job with you in the hot seat by the end of this time, Raju. So if we could create movement in any way, what is it?
I think gladly though, Rebecca, having seen some of your work and the way you communicate, it's all about the light and the healing. Um, I just, heal a little bit more is my goal, right? So
A little bit more, and then can you just be a little more specific? I know we had discussed finding love after the
uh,
loss of your wife. Is that still our direction?
I have no idea what direction we want to go in, but the fact of the matter is that yeah, I think it has been one part of my life that we all. I mean, as a single parent to young boys, I've had the challenge of not being able to move on with my life of dating and finding that love. We're all open to love. 2020 has made it more complicated, but uh, in terms of getting physically out there to date. But the truth is that I don't necessarily think that it's this way or that way and how we meet people. That's just a function of how things happen. In the old days, when I met my wife, it was on the subway in New York City. I was really open, as far as energetically open uh, to being in love for the first time ever. Um, and I was on a different path, and then all of a sudden a bolt from the blue came, and I had to like really feel the shock of it, and they go, oh my god, is this love? And it just took 2 times of meeting. Now so I'm saying those days we didn't have the internet. We didn't have, it was in the mid 90s. There's no internet, there was no clubs and so on, except bars and single events where you could just be part of a book club or do your yoga thing. That's the way you met people in this very busy, bustling New York City. Whereas today it's a lot more, in a way, it's a lot more open. You can, look in the all the online sites and find anything you're looking for. But it's on the other hand very hard to actually connect with people at a deeper level. So I think in the 6th anniversary, I think I've only had like a couple of sort of short relationships, and I think I struggled as far as letting go, even though my wife on her deathbed, asked me to. I might get teary-eyed about this. Like
Yeah.
she called me one day into the room and said, "Hey, I just want you to be open to love again." And I go, "Why are we discussing love? You're here, I'm here. Let's be here." And so, yeah. So in that way, I had her permission to go. And men are different from women, and I found a strong connection to my feminine energy right from that moment on, and I've nurtured that. And um, so yeah, I feel her presence, and some of it is maybe, I think, intellectually I'm not letting go, maybe, or am I not letting go at a heart level? I don't know. So that's where the
What if you did know? It sounds very much like you are still connected to your wife, honoring your wife. She meant the world to you. And then on an intellectual level, it sounds like you understand that the how isn't really the issue. The how
correct.
you're going to find love isn't really the issue. So,
Exactly.
what's the deeper work, Raju, that we can begin to tackle today? Obviously, in a hot seat, we won't get everything done, but we can create some momentum for
Yeah,
sure.
I think my heart's more open than it has been, but that's another intellectual statement. Is it really? Have I been in a situation where no one's around? kids aren't around and I'm here open. Um, I do feel more open than ever before, which is why I even
Yeah.
allowed myself to show up here today. So yeah, that's a step in that direction. So yeah, I just feel like, and I have moved from the intellectual to the emotional, as far as, not putting everybody as a comparison to the one person loved, and then it goes into, if you talk too much about that past, and then it's like, oh wait a minute, that's not fair to the person I'm speaking with. So that's an intellectual thing, and then you practice it, and you say, really, okay, I feel like, I just need to be open at the heart level. So I feel, having done a lot of meditations and a lot of work over the past 3-4 years, I feel I'm more open, but there's always stuff that comes up.
What is it that's still coming up when you think about that possibility of finding your next great love?
Well, it comes up because, without sounding, how we are when somebody passes, you suddenly, all you think about is the beautiful compliments, and the eulogy is always positive. It's never, but truth be told, I mean, she was for everyone that's ever met her, even once or twice, she was a very different person. Um, and I don't mean that just because she was my wife. She was a real angel, and I didn't realize who she was until she passed. How weird is that?
Wow.
Meaning, you take the person you live with for granted. But I mean, not that I'm sure we all took each other for granted at various times in life. We were together for about 20 years. I think she was always heart led. It was never, there was not a negative word or a thought that would come out of, that channeled through her mouth, because she was just who she was all joy. She talked about joy, and to me, all of that back in the day, joy, happiness, and all that meant the same thing. And the truth was, that's not what it was. I mean, if she got angry, she needed to communicate that. I was the person she would communicate that with, but not with anyone else. So everyone else, just thought of her as their best friend. She was their best friend because she just listened. She always offered a very deep, listening skill. And if they asked questions about her, she would turn it back to them. It was never about her. And I saw that skill, of course. I recognized that, and I learned a hell of a lot from her. But I think in her death, there was weirdly a lot more enlightenment about life on this earth than I ever did before.
Yeah.
So that's like the hard one to, because that's what comes up. Like, oh my God, the next person I'm ever going to be with. I mean, so, it's not fair. So you intellectually not fair. And then you go, okay, well, then and as you're seeing more of that person, it just sort of comes up, I'm sure, in ways that I don't even recognize sometimes.
And I don't want to assume I understand your thought process. So say it to me again a different way. So the next person, what's the fear or the belief when it comes to, all right, now I'm bringing in the possibility of the next person?
Mm-hmm. So it sounds lovely to be able to share my life with someone. I also believe that I don't need to fill someone's need, and they don't need to fill mine. Because I think, on the progress of spirituality, or the path of spirituality, there is only progress, right? If you are really a seeker and you're doing that. So that's my life. That's been my life now since I was 13. But then, I kind of went off the side, and then I think my wife and I were together on a very deep spiritual path, and that continues. That doesn't change. So it's sharing life with somebody, not filling somebody's need. And so if it feels for me, as it did in these couple of relationships, that I was just filling somebody's need, and that's what they needed me for. And I think that's what comes up more than anything else. So if we're
Yeah.
two wholes coming together, that's beautiful. But yin and yang part of it, like I'm filling somebody's need, they're filling my need to make us a whole. That's probably the biggest. As we're talking, it's coming up to me. So
Now, do you believe that you can have and experience the depth and the spiritual love that you had with your wife again?
I believe that intellectually. I believe that.
I'm talking to your heart, Raju.
Okay. I think that's where the issue is. I believe I certainly believe that. And given what I said, like she was on her deathbed and says that to me, full senses a month before she passed. So I feel released from it. So in terms of, yeah, of course, I feel very open and that I have a lot of love to give, and I'm a loving person by nature, and my 4 kids are testimony to that, and hopefully my friends and other family are testimony to that. I don't know, but I feel that way. So if I'm here to share my love, then that's all that matters, right? And it's a coexistence is wonderful, accepting who the other person is as they are, and that's what I like to feel, like we accept who we are to each other.
Yeah. And then I just want to hear a little bit more about what it was like for you, and if it would be supportive to close your eyes and even go back to that moment in time with your wife, basically giving you permission to find your next love. What was that like for you?
Well, as I said, it was a real moving experience for me, and while I did not, break into to tears and all that stuff, but I did afterwards, and I go, wow, how big is she, right? Um, yeah, I was in the hospital, and I was like, I can't believe that she's thinking about that, and here we are, just latching on to every moment in life that she's got to live. And we all don't know whether we live the next day or the next moment. But yeah, I was really moved by that.
I can't imagine. Your courage, Raju, is incredible and so beautiful. And your leadership, even today in my life outside of this time with you, your leadership has been
You're
impeccable.
kind. Thank you.
But today as well. And I just want to invite you to go a little deeper, if you're willing, with me, and try not to think about your answer, but let your heart, let your body talk. Why, if you get all this, if you've done all this work, if you are honoring the passing of your wife, experiencing a willingness to step into love now again, what is still in the way?
Oh my God, Rebecca. You're asking me not to think, and my heart says that I miss her every day.
Yeah, feel that. I'm
Yeah.
feeling it with you.
Yeah.
What's happening?
I just feel her with me, and she's here with me. We can remove all the pictures from our walls, and uh, the hardest thing about these bodies is the memories, right? The memories are we can hold on to memories or just let them be where they are and feel like let's move forward. And I'm always looking to move forward, and sometimes not sometimes, but in this particular case, it's hard to move forward at times.
And is that because you miss her every day? Is that just part of it and there's more? Why is it hard to move forward? I believe you.
I think I don't think I think it's the presence, right? Her presence is very much, it, pervades, right? This home, and no matter where I am, we've moved 3 times since she passed, and it's always here. Um, sleeping alone in the same bedroom, it's, can't not but feel her presence to my right. And yeah, so sometimes it's beautifully comforting, and at times it's hard. At times it's like I ask her, what would you do in this situation if I have a challenge?
Yeah.
And all of the faith, and the 3 big words that she used to live by was joy, peace, and harmony. Joy, peace, and harmony. She also said those words a couple of days ago, before she passed, rather, to her mother and to me, and keep the joy and the peace and the harmony. So yeah, I latch on to that for strength. And yeah.
Raju, can she have your heart? What's her name?
Kim.
Kim or Kimberly?
Well, her name was Kimberly, but she went by Kim.
So can Kim have your heart and you experience your next love?
Say that again, Rebecca.
Can Kim have your heart and you still get to, because life is so precious, experience your next love?
I think so. I mean, not only did she say so herself, but her heart speaks to me. So yeah, but that's where sometimes the split is, right? Mm-hmm. We intellectually go back to, oh, can you love more than one person in your life? Well, I believe so. Of course you can. And so I don't think there's any intellectually any condition attached to any of it.
You have 4 children.
Pardon?
You have 4 children.
Mm-hmm. 2 with her.
2 with her. Mm-hmm. This is a hard question, but
Am I keeping my eyes closed still?
You don't have to.
Okay. Sorry.
Supportive. Yeah, this is just for you, whatever feels supportive. But I just want you to think about having 4 children. I remember when I was pregnant with my second daughter, being very confronted by the fact that I had to share my love between 2 children. I didn't know how I could love a second child as much as my first child.
Wow.
When the second child was born, and it was a non-issue.
It was an issue?
It was not an issue.
Oh, not an issue, of course.
No, not even a little bit of an issue. I have plenty of room in this heart to love both of my children. How do you feel about your 4 children?
Oh, I could have 5 more children, and it would be okay. I'd be full, of course.
So, okay, Raju, I want you to.
Isn't the children different than, because they're part of your?
Is it? Love is love.
As I said, I really believe that I can love, more than one person in my life, or more than 1 or 2. Yes. I did have, as I said, a brief relationship or 2. I feel I was not ready, but I think that's the last person I felt I was really getting into that mode, and I think it was me who got scared more than anything else.
And what was that? What was the fear you hit?
Well, I think I blamed it to neediness, right? The clinginess and the neediness, which for me, so I think I made that an issue, but that's not, I don't know that was the case. I think it was more my own fear that I was falling in love again.
Yeah. What's it going to take for you to?
I have never said this to anyone. I can't believe that I'm saying that.
I'm honored to share this space with you, and the work you're doing is.
I don't know if she's ever going to see this, but.
I'm sure she's seeing it. All of a sudden, the light's shining in my window here, and what's it going to take? I want to know, for you to give yourself permission to fall in love again. You
I
don't
think
need,
I'm ready. I think I'm ready. I don't need anybody's permission. I think
but yours.
yes, yes. So I just feel like I don't need anybody's permission. It's my permission that I need to
Yeah.
go forward. So I think the very fact that um, I when you and I spoke the last time, the fact that I was even ready to go down this path told me that I was ready.
Will you?
I'm sorry. Jeez, what am I doing here?
This is perfect, Raju. This is healing. We have to move through the stuck. It's so much more than just an intellectual understanding that gets you the new result. And it's never about figuring out how you're going to get somewhere.
Sure.
And when it comes to love, you're speaking to and for all of us. There is no human being that doesn't struggle with how to open their heart to another. And I can't imagine what you've been through. And 6 years later, here you are. I agree with you that you have more love to give than, is even comprehensible. Your heart is magnificent and massive.
You're sweet.
Well, I don't lie. So I really believe that. I really mean it. So will you be open to an exercise with me right now? Can I offer an exercise? You don't have to do it.
I mean, I'm open, right?
Okay. I want to invite you to just declare to your wife, to the divine, to your soul, that you are absolutely committing to finding love again, starting now, if that feels genuine and sincere. And then you can say it in whatever way is authentic to you.
Yes, I'm completely open to finding love again today.
Are you committed to it? See, we
I'm
know
committed to it. I'm committed to it. I'm committed to it.
Open to finding love. I'm committed to finding love. There's no way that, it was a fluke that you met Kim on the subway that day. You had to have been not only open to love, but committing to finding it. Right?
So that's, I have a slight, what shall I say? Not a difference with the idea, but the notion, because without affirming it, verbalizing it, and saying this out loud. I mean, we do this. I mean, hey, listen, I coach all sorts of things, and I'm always trying to get people into their hearts, which is what, and this part of my life, of the 6 or 7 roles I play, this has been the hardest for me, is to, for the finding the love part of it. But it's not like you're looking out with a flashlight looking for love in the world. I think you're just being open. Yeah. So you ask and you shall receive, and then you have to allow. Yeah. The allow is the friction for me, and now the allowance is there. And yes, I'm stating it emphatically, and I'm committed to finding love. Yes, of course, yes.
Why is this so important to you?
Because sharing is everything, and then if love is, is the underpinning of the joy, peace, harmony. Man, if love should and could change the whole world, and there's so much strife and there's so much conflict in the world, and we all know from all the sages and ages of people talked about love. I mean, when you've been in love with, with whatever it means to you, whether it's the love of children and love of a partner or a spouse. I mean, that just, to me, is like, it is the most amazing feeling when it happens. So, and when it's conditional and all these things that attach to that, like a few women I've maybe gone out with, it just seems so conditional that, mm-hmm. Or age is a problem. I'm like, oh, okay, well, and then that's a condition. I can't. Then it's a problem. If it's a problem, it's a problem. Whatever that is, right? So for people, I want to, lose 20 pounds before I can see you. Like, okay, what does that got to do with anything? It's just, I mean, women have said that. So I go, oh, that's weird. You seem like a fit guy, and well, what does that got to do with anything? It's just, we're all work in progress every single day. So anyway, I digress. So yeah, I am committed. Yes, I'm committed.
How will finding your next love change your world specifically?
I think it's all right. Now this is going to sound weird, but uh, I don't know specifically how my world will change, but clearly this might imply that if I don't have it, I'll be unhappy. No, I'm happy, content with what I've got, where I am. Sharing is easier, and caring, it's wonderful. Companionship and doing whatever experiences you want to share together is amazing. Right now, I do that with maybe my children or family or friends, and oftentimes it's good to have a different and deeper sense of that. That would be wonderful to share with somebody. Yeah. So yeah, my change, it will obviously spill over into other parts of my life, which but again, I don't feel like there is a lack or there is some absence of something somewhere. Therefore, if this happened, then that would happen. I don't think in conditions anymore, and I don't believe that that's the case. Uh, sure, you feel more fulfilled, of course, in every part of your life.
More joy,
More joy.
which is your right.
Mm, yeah,
What are you feeling?
I'm feeling happy inside me.
I love that. It's been such an honor to share this time with you. And I would just invite you to stay with this commitment very present on a heart, body level, not thinking about it. Because as you're sharing so beautifully, there's nothing to do.
It's nothing to do. Yeah.
There's nothing to do. It's just about